how do you actually accelerate your roots? How do you learn about them? How do you incorporate them into your life? How do you use them to accelerate your own development? So, first off is that, do you know that 5% of your brains are conscious? And that 95% of our brains are unconscious? And if we could increase the consciousness, the self-awareness of our people, of our partners, of our colleagues, by 1 to 2 percentage points, the return on investment inside a company is amazing. So leading conscious change and becoming a more conscious person, to me, is at the foundation of being a transformational leader. And it starts with, am I seeing myself and the world clearly? Or is my vision blurred? Secondly is, am I thinking with an open mind and a growth mindset? Or is my mindset fixed and rigid? Thirdly is, do I live mostly in my positive emotions? Or do I find myself living more in my negative emotions? And lastly, as I look down on myself, is my behavior with others constructive and productive, or is it dysfunctional and destructive and unproductive? So this is a very important thing that I'm saying about becoming more conscious of who we are and how personal transformation drives business transformation. So how do you actually do that? The first thing is that there are accelerators, things inside of us that push us forward. Things like faith in the future, hope and optimism, our confidence, our desire to give back, our generosity, our resilience. These are accelerators that push us forward. We also have inside of us hijackers that pull us back. Sort of dysfunctional ways of thinking, like overgeneralizing situations or personalizing situations. As one leader said to me, I live by the mantra of do what I can, want what I have, and be who I am. Do you have a philosophy, a mantra that leads you in the face of all of these disruptors? So what are some of the hijackers? Perfectionism. Do you live in other people's worlds by pleasing others more than yourself and giving up your power to be transformational? Do you live with emotional derailers or self-defeating thinking or a high need for control? How attached are you to success? You know, there's so many definitions of success. How attached are you? So when you have a failure or you fall down, you fall apart. Transformational leaders don't fall down and fall apart. They fall down and they get up, and they have a resilience. And they experience the loss and the anxiety, but they get up and they move on. Now, if you're the CEO of this company or you're the CEO of a member firm, you make an investment in your people to be transformational leaders. And then you drop them into a culture, as was talked about earlier. And that culture has accelerators that reinforce the investment that you just made in transformational leaders. Are the leaders themselves inspirational? Is the communication open? Are people empowered? Do you give customer feedback? There's also hijackers. Hijackers that undermine the behavior and development that you just invested in. So, as was said earlier this morning, leadership and culture are two sides to the same coin. And in the middle is the leader's behavior. And so, to be a transformational leader is to think about transforming the culture. So we talked about the why. why we need transformational leaders. We talked about the what, which is in a counterintuitive way, it really is inside ourselves to really be better transformational leaders on the outside, but then a multiplication sign for the how. This is where most companies fail. Do you know that 60 to 70% of the change efforts that you are engaged in don't reach their desired targets? That's a really big number. And the reason is we don't focus on the personal transformations of each person. Companies change one leader at a time. Companies change one leader at a time. You have a very powerful vision and strategy. The question is, what do you do about it?